Master's microphone, check, check, check.
Makawao, it's
Children's Dharma story time, starring Barkley the dog, and Lucy the ladybug, and little baby Dot, and Kenneth. Hey, Kenneth, good morning. Oops, sorry, where are we? Hey, look, it's me, Barkley the dog, the rascal dog, the star of the Children's Dharma story time. Mahalo for joining us here in historic Makawao town on the beautiful island of Maui. Okay, I just lost the slides. Okay, there we go. And this here is the love of my life, Lucy Ladybug. Good morning. Aloha kako. Aloha for everyone. I'm so happy to see all of you here this morning. Mahalo nui loa for joining the Children's Dharma story time today. Arigato, mahalo, obrigado, shay, thank you. Wow, what a great story for you today. Yes, that's right, Berkeley. It's one of Sensei's favorite stories, brought to you by Auntie Jean H. And this story is called The Rabbit in the Moon, a Japanese folktale. Once upon a time, the old man of the moon looked down into a big forest on Earth. He saw a rabbit, a monkey, and a fox living there together in the forests as very good friends. Now, I wonder which of them is the kindest, said the old man to himself. I think I'll go down and see. So he changed himself into an old beggar and came down from the moon to the forest where the three friends were. Please help me, he said to them. I'm very, very hungry. Oh, what a poor old beggar, said the three friends, and they went hurrying off to find some food for him. The monkey found and brought the beggar a lot of fruit, and the fox caught a big fish for him to eat. But the rabbit just couldn't find anything at all to bring. Oh my, what shall I do? But just then he had an idea. Please, Mr. Monkey, said the rabbit, gather some firewood for me. And please, Mr. Fox, make a big fire with the firewood. They did as their friend had asked, and when the fire was burning brightly, the rabbit said to the beggar, I don't have anything to give you, so I'll put myself into this fire, and when I'm cooked, you can eat me. The rabbit was just about to jump into the fire when the beggar suddenly changed himself back into the old man of the moon. You're very kind, Mr. Rabbit, he said, but you should never do anything to harm yourself. Since you're the kindest of all, I'll take you home to live with me. And then the old man of the moon took the rabbit into his arms and carried him up to the moon. So when you look at the moon when it is shining brightly, you can still see the rabbit there where the old man took him so long ago. The end. And that was the story, The Rabbit in the Moon, a Japanese folktale. And this is from Japanese Children's Favorite Stories, book number 1, edited by Florence Sakaba and published by Tuttle Publishing, and this is the Kindle edition. Okay, Barkley went somewhere. There he is. Okay, isn't that cool? A rabbit on the moon? Hey, Kenneth, have you ever seen a rabbit on the moon? Nope. Let's go back to this. Can you see the rabbit on the moon now? Sort of, right? Sort of. So when I first went to Japan and they said, in Japan we see rabbits in the moon, I look up and go, oh, you're right, it does look like a rabbit. In some portrayals, the rabbit is pounding mochi. So it depends. It's kind of an interesting one. So where am I? Here we go. So isn't that cool? A rabbit on the moon. Tonight's moon is a waning moon, but the next time there's a full moon, let's go check it out. A rabbit on the moon? Maybe that's why dogs like to howl at the moon all the time. Oh, Berkeley, you're such a rascal. I always saw a face on the moon, but now I'll look for the rabbit, just like in Japan. Barkley and Lucy and Little Dot, I'd like to thank you for being my Dharma buddies this year, or last year, and hope that you continue to help me out to do the children's Dharma story time. I couldn't do it without you. Oh, we know that, Sensei. You need us. That's why I'm Barkley the dog, the star of the children's Dharma story time. And this here's Lucy the ladybug, the love of my life. And this is our little baby Dot. Well, let's thank our Dharma buddies around the world and here in this room for being our friends and joining us every week. Happy New Year. Mahalo, thank you, arigatou gozaimasu, gracias, merci, danke. We wish you all a great new year. Have fun. And remember, be good, but not too much. Fade to black. Okay. Thank you, Kenneth. You hear this story every year, I know. So good morning. Haoli makahiki ho. Happy New Year. Akemashite omedetou gozaimasu. May your year 2025 be filled with aloha. And thanks so much for waking up this morning and coming to the temple. Actually, we should all be thankful and express gratitude that we actually woke up this morning and were able to come to the temple. Namo Amida Butsu. So today is known as Gantan-e, also Shu Shou-e, so the first day of the new year in the Honganji tradition. Go next one. So think about it, right? Today is the first morning of 2025. What were the first, fill in the blank, what were the first things that you did this morning? The first things that you did in 2025? Right? In Japan, the first something of the new year is considered very auspicious, very worthy of note. So for example, this one, Hatsuhimode, the first sunrise of the year. The first sunrise considered, of course, especially auspicious marker in time, and many Japanese make the point to go somewhere to watch the sunrise. In the land of the rising sun, the first sunrise of the year, you can even get special flights to do this. So Japan Airlines and All Nippon, they offer a first sunrise flight, with a special New Year's menu at a cost of $600 to $1,000. It's not like it's very far. Mount Fuji is pretty close to Tokyo, so it's, yeah. But let me ask you this. Did you notice the sunrise this morning? Here's another good one, right? Hatsuyume. So the first dream of the year. Right, the first dream of the year. According to Japanese tradition, the first dream of the year comes true. So better pay attention, right? So think about it. What was your first dream? And if you didn't have a dream last night, think about it, right? So the next tomorrow morning, you wake up and go, what was my first dream? Because it's going to come true. Hatsumode is the first visit to the shrine or the temple. And so this is the one, this is in Kamakura. This is the biggest shrine in Kamakura. You can see the line is absolutely huge. Now in Tokyo, millions of people, literally millions of people, will visit the Meiji Jingu shrine, the Meiji shrine. And they time their Hatsumode, the first visit to the temple, so that they're waiting up in line. They do the last things you're supposed to do before the year ends, and then when the 108 strikes of the bell, bong, Happy New Year, right? They're at the temple, they're at the shrine, so they're also doing their first visit to the temple or shrine. And you basically ask the gods for good fortune in the coming year, exactly at midnight, if you do it right. In modern times, there's a new phenomenon known as Hatsu Texto. The first text message of the year. So 1 second after midnight, millions of Japanese people use their cell phones to send Happy New Year messages to all of their family and relatives and friends. And there's so many messages that even in Japan, the cellular networks slow down. There's just millions of people sending text messages. I got several of them yesterday afternoon. I was like, what? My friends, my former colleagues in Japan, I'm on their list. So they have, group text messaging lists, and they shoot out messages to everybody. But think of that, right? Millions of people sending text messages at the same time. Kakizome. I did bring my student calligraphy set, which is outside on the table here. And I'll give, if anybody can read the kanji and the Japanese that I wrote, I'll give you what it says. Okay, but the idea basically, right, is the first thing that you write calligraphy in the new year, right, it expresses your hopes and dreams and aspirations for the year. And traditionally, you would prepare the ink using the first bucket of water that you draw from the well in your yard. Right? So you can see that there's all these first things, first. So the Japanese have a very highly developed sense of the significance. This is the first time you're coming to the temple this year. It's the first time you offer an incense. It's the first time we sing Gasho to Amida together. Yes, get up. No? Okay, that's okay. Yeah, Grandpa's saying that. Yeah. Because if you ask questions, Sensei will keep talking, and we can't go eat the gozoni, so. Yeah, so I would encourage everyone to at least give it a try. Writing with the brush is actually a lot harder than it looks. To make it look nice, it's like, you have to practice a lot. But just have fun with it. But again, it's the first thing that you write. So if you want to, succeed and get into Harvard or something, right, you would write something like that. If you're hoping for good health, you would write that. If I want to win the lottery, or whatever you want, you would write those things down. Okay, here's the fun part. Osechi. When I was growing up in Los Angeles, I didn't hear this term very much, but osechi ryori is the first meal of the new year, and it's extraordinarily elaborate because the New Year celebration lasts for 3 days. Imagine that, right? So today you come to church, right? We do a service, then you go home for your family, you gather, you eat, you drink. Then the next day, you go visit your boss, you go visit people who are important in your lives, or your family, important relatives. Each family has a slightly different tradition. But the second day, it's the same thing. The osechi comes out, the beer and the sake comes out, soft drinks for the kids come out, and you basically sit around and eat and drink. So there's a lot of traditions, right? It's actually a lot like America. The traditions include drinking too much sake, eating too much food, and watching too many silly, television shows. I was actually going to try to get some clips of that just to show you how crazy they can be. So tradition says the family gathers at the eldest son or eldest daughter's, or mom or grandma, grandpa. So you visit the family home. All of the family comes together for this day. And then, because people are going to come to your home the second day, right? Because you would either go visit someone to say thank you, or people come to your house to say thank you. So, of course, this being Japan, you have to serve food, and you must have a glass of sake with us, first glass of sake in the new year. And that's why you have osoji, right? You have the big cleanup before the end of the year because you have a bunch of people coming over to your house. And also, while it takes about a week to make the osechi ryori, all of these dishes, I'll have a separate talk next year about what each of these things symbolizes. But for example, you've probably seen like the big fish in the middle. And that's traditionally a tai. So the fish is called tai in Japanese. And if you say omedetai, it's like felicitations, congratulations. It's a happy occasion. So you have a big Thai fish in the middle because it's omedetai. So, okay. Raise your hand if you like the sweet black beans. That was like the only thing I liked when I was a kid, because everything else was like, yeah. Those are called, right, kuromame. Right, so mame, bean. Mame means bean. But it also means to be diligent and hardworking. So if you say, in reference to someone who's a worker, you say, he's very mame. So the first time I heard that as a student, I'm going, why are they calling you a bean? But it means to be hardworking and dedicated. So by eating the mame, that's your hope for that year. You may or may not have noticed that at the front entrance we have a kadomatsu, so the stand thing. And thank you to Paul Nishida for donating, for making that an offering to the temple. Each of those elements, so sho, chiku, bai. Sho is bamboo. Sho is pine. Chiku is bamboo. And bai is plum. So plum is the first flower that blossoms even during winter. It's the first flower you're going to see in winter. Boom. And it's kind of that purple kind of color. Bamboo, of course, is known for, you can have a hurricane, you can have a typhoon, and it'll go like this, but it won't break. It'll snap back. So resiliency. And then pine is a symbol of long life. So those three elements combine to express our wish for those things in the new year. I was kind of surprised to discover it's considered perfectly acceptable to start drinking from the first thing in the morning on January 1st. And traditionally, you can see in the upper left corner, you can see there's like a very fancy sake set. You have a special sake called otoso, which has herbs in it. So it's kind of an herby kind of thing. And even little kids, use the smallest cup. You take a little sip, and then it goes around. And so this is just part of what you do for New Year's Day. And then the real drinking starts and basically continues all day for 3 days in a row. So what's your earliest memory of New Year's Day, right? January 1st. So take a moment and reflect on that. Well, think back. What's your earliest memory of New Year's Day? For me, it's the smell of the ozoni that my dad made on January 1st every New Year's Day. He's very straightforward ozoni, which he remembered from childhood. So basically, shoyu, daikon, carrots, toasted mochi, that's it. That's it. Very, very simple. And because California daikon is grown in dry climate, it's quite smelly. It has a pungent smell. So you can imagine as a kid waking up in the morning to this kind of pungent daikon boiling smell, and I guess it's New Year's Day. And that's probably the reason actually that I didn't care for ozoni soup when I was a kid. But I eat the whole bowl because then you have permission to get the toasted mochi and put it in sato joyu, in sugar mixed with shoyu. So it's sweet. So you have to eat the bowl of ozoni, one, because your dad made it, you better eat it, and two, because then you can have unlimited amounts of toasted mochi. Much later, when I lived in Tokyo and had some of Mimi's ozoni, which includes chicken, mitsuba greens, shiitake mushrooms, in a dashi-based broth, which is fantastic, which today remains my favorite ozoni. And so Mimi's making a simplified version of it for us later, as soon as Sensei stops talking. And then we go to church. We go to the Senshin Buddhist Temple for New Year's Day service. So that's why I thought everybody did that on New Year's Day. And then we go to Ohaka Mairi. We go to the cemetery, to the family grave sites, both Kiyohara and Nakawatase. And then we go to auntie and uncles, so Auntie Sachi's Nakawatase side of my family, the mother side of the family. And families were bigger back in the 60s, so we'd have 50-plus aunties and uncles, all crowded into an 800-square-foot, 2-bedroom, 1-bath. Think about that, right? In southwest Los Angeles, in the Crenshaw district. Endless amounts of food and drink at the college bowl games, the Rose Parade, it's all playing on the TV. And then we'd go to Ba-chan's house. We'd go to the Kiyohara side of the family. There's about 60 people in a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, in the historic West Adams district. And everybody takes naps. Now, I look back on these memories and think about, wow, it's such a fond memories because it was ritual. Every year, the family would gather. Right? Every year, maybe one time a year, I get to see my cousins. And there's all this unlimited food. There's talk story. All the adults are talking, so the kids can go on the back and play and do whatever. But it happened every year. And we'd always do the same thing. You go to the temple, you go to Auntie Sachi's, you go to Ba-chan's, everybody eats too much, you fall asleep watching the bowl games. And connection. So again, many of my cousins, it was the one time a year I get to see them. We always know we're related, somehow. But it's not like we're really close. But they're cousins, they're family. Food. Growing up in LA, I never understood the symbolism of the very basic kinds of food, but each element has meaning. And it was a big deal. It took about a week of banchan of my grandma, and then Auntie Sachi, and of course all the aunties, preparing the food. So you have all these great foods, special Japanese foods. Maybe once a year you get to eat this stuff. Japanese American foods. Teriyaki chicken, which actually is the Southern California version of huli huli chicken. It was a big deal. We didn't get to eat that all the time. I mean, here in Hawaii, of course, you just go to a plate lunch place, you can get it. And it was okay to go back for seconds and thirds. We had permission to drink soda, which we couldn't do on a regular basis. It was a big deal. My favorite was Fanta Grape, by the way. I've never really been very passionate about football, so I always found something else to do. But the uncles and cousins watching the football games every year. Right? And there's a photograph somewhere of all the uncles and cousins just like, sleeping because they had too much to eat. So today is the first day of the year 2025. So what memories are you creating today? What memories do you hope that your children and grandchildren will cherish as they grow up? And today, and the rest of 2025, it's a wonderful opportunity to celebrate new beginnings, new hope, new dreams, together as ohana, as a family, and also as a Sangha temple community. So each day is precious because it is a new chance to create rituals, create new memories, connections, and just a chance to share a meal and celebrate the gift of this life with the people that you cherish the most in your unrepeatable life. So the Buddhist perspective on the meaning and significance of New Year's Eve and New Year's Day is best explained by the late Reverend Dr. Taitetsu Uno. Quote, "For a Buddhist, every day is a new year, and every moment a new moment. The significance of life is to be discovered in the here and now, not in some remote past, nor in some unknown future. But this realization does not come easily, for we live in a linguistically constructed world where clock time, calendar time, and abstract time are easily mistaken for time itself." End quote. The late Reverend Dr. Taitetsu Uno. You can find this in Shin Buddhism, Bits of Rubble Turn into Gold. So simply put, time is not real. So I told this story last night. Once upon a time, a little boy asks his father, "When is tomorrow?" His father replies, "It's dark now, isn't it?" "Well, son, you sleep tonight, and when it becomes bright, you open your eyes, and there you have tomorrow." So the following morning, the boy awoke, and seeing that the darkness had turned to light, he thought this was tomorrow. And he rushed up to his father. "Father, father!" "What is it?" "I'm still sleepy," replied the father. "Father, is this tomorrow?" "Don't be silly," he replied. "Tomorrow comes after you eat 3 meals today, sleep at night, and wake up. Then it's tomorrow." Now the little boy couldn't understand because he was trying to grasp something that has no reality in itself. And this is a story told by the Reverend Gyodo Haguri. Tomorrow never comes. So think about that. Time is not real. What do we do with time? We waste time. We kill time. Right? Or we make time for people. Is it real? I don't know. It's, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the morning here. But in New York City, it's the afternoon already. Everyone's been drinking and watching the bowl games and stuff. Actually, we're probably missing some of the bowl games, aren't we? But think about that. Think about that. And so this idea of in your head, this is the first time I'm hearing the chickens. This is the first time I'm seeing the Bodhi tree. This is the first time we're seeing Julie. Hey, Julie, thanks for coming. It's that kind of thing. But by doing this, by forcing yourself to recognize this, you begin to realize that every day is the start of a new year. Every day is the start of a new year. So if you live your life as if every day is the start of something new, would your life be different? If you live each day as if you're creating memories and family rituals and connections and reconnections and food memories for you, your children, your grandchildren, future generations of your entire family line, how would your life be different? So each day is a precious chance to create something wonderful. So what are you going to do today? Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Okay, please rise if you're able, and let's sing Ondok-san, the Hymn of Gratitude, written by Shinran Shoni. You find it on the screen. I did that yesterday. My Nenju exploded and the bees went everywhere. And this will be followed by the Nembutsu. This is hymn number 52. Thank you. Please be seated. So once again, we'll sit quietly for a few moments. So just relax and get comfortable. If you're able, sit forward in your seat and place both feet flat on the ground. Now sit up straight and align your head, neck, shoulders, and back in a straight line that goes down to the floor. Place your hands comfortably in your lap and just breathe. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. As you breathe in, think of something for which you are grateful. And as you breathe out, just say mahalo. Just say thank you, thank you, thank you. Just breathe.
sound of the gong will signal the end of our quiet meditation. I just have a couple of announcements. Here's the schedule for the month of January. This is our Sunday services. So January 5, I'll be on leave of absence, but we'll be having the first Sunday family service, including Dharma school. So please encourage the kids to come. January 12th will be a regular Dharma family service. January 19th is another major service. This is Shinran Shonin's memorial service, Ho Onko. Also, we'll have Dharma school on that Sunday. And then the 26th, we'll have a service, the annual membership meeting and installation of officers. And then that will be followed by the Shinmen, the New Year party. So please make a point of coming for that Sunday. I don't have any details or photographs yet, but yeah, Shinmen Kai, January 26th. Any other announcements? Did I forget anything? Otherwise, everyone's welcome to enjoy ozoni and talk story in the social hall. Also, if you didn't have a chance to ring the bells last night, you can ring the konsho, you can bong the gong. The calligraphy set's on the table out there. And again, if you can read what the Japanese says, I'll give it to you. And everybody else, just pick up the brush and try writing something. It's a lot harder than it looks, so don't feel bad if it looks weird the first time. Otherwise, thank you very much for attending the service this morning, and may your day be